Hello friends! So we are right now in week 4. In theory, that's when you should be watching this video, right? And I promised our first midterm is going to be during week 6, so these days. And so I better release a module on midterm 1, and here it is. There's a bunch of pages, there's a lot to talk about, so sit back, we're going to go through most of this. Alright, so the first page that you should go to for your information is the midterm 1 info page. That's going to tell you a lot about the exam. Alright, so here's when it's going to be. It's going to be available on Canvas between 2 p.m. on the 18th to 8 p.m. on the 19th. Alright, so the Wednesday and Thursday of week 6 is when it's going to be, and that's when you can take it. You can start whenever you want, but you have an hour and a half to take the test. There will be a timer that starts ticking when you click start, so definitely make sure then to start by 6:30 on the 19th, otherwise it will cut you off. And this date range is the same for everybody. Extensions do not apply to exams, okay? So yeah, that's when it's going to be and how long it's going to be. And then here's the topics. So the topics will be from these chapters. So chapters 1 and 2 are going to be the ones that I hit hard, but you will also hear me say the word set. And so I will also ask about like some basic chapter 3 stuff, but like all the serious set theoretical questions, I'll save those for midterm 2. Okay, that's my promise. And yeah, homework 0 and 1. You can expect some questions in similar styles, kind of, and then lectures up through week 5, which includes set stuff. Okay, so that is going to be what's going to be on the test, and I've got a sample exam here as well. If you want to go look at that, that's the midterm one that I gave the last time I taught the class, so it's going to be in a similar format to that. And yeah, I do want to say I've given you a gift for this first midterm because it's very hard to test you on your ability to write proofs and things like that. So what I've done for us, this is not going to be true for any of the other tests in this class, but for our first midterm, it's going to be entirely multiple choice, all right? You are welcome. It's not going to be like a super easy test still, it's still a test, but it is multiple choice, and that might make you breathe easier while you're taking it. But yeah, take a look at the sample questions for like the kind of difficulty that you can expect, and let's talk about what's got to happen during the test, because I told you that you're going to have to record yourself as you take it, right? So here's like what's going on. We're going to pretend more or less like this is an in-person test that you're taking on paper. So the test is closed book. You cannot navigate away from the midterm 1 page on Canvas. Like that's the only tab you're allowed to have open while you're taking the test. And you'll be recording that, your screen to prove that, okay? You do get a cheat sheet though. I let you have a printer's paper size, 8.5 by 11 size page of whatever you want. You can write whatever you'd like on a cheat sheet, and it's got to be handwritten though, all right? So whatever, as small as you want to write, you can use both sides. That's what you get to bring to the test, all right? That's your one resource. You can of course have as much blank scratch paper as you want. You just got to show me with your webcam that it's blank. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You can't use anything else. No calculators, can't go on the server, can't use the internet in any other way other than taking the test. Okay? So yeah, you got to record yourself while you're taking it, and then after you finish the test, you'll stop your recording, and then you'll submit the recording too. So like this is where it's going to be. Like here's where you'll go to take the actual test. You'll record yourself as you're taking it, and then once you're done and you got the recording file, you'll submit it to this page down here as well. Okay? So that's what you're going to do when you take the test. Okay? Let's see what else. And yeah, I've got to just, there's a bunch of directions that I've written out because I want you to do things in a certain order as you start recording yourself before you start taking the test. And as long as you follow them out, I wrote them all out so that we can all have like the same format of everything. They're not hard directions, there's just a little wordy so that you make sure that you're doing all the correct stuff, all right? But do make sure to follow all of them. If you miss something, I have to give you a 0, all right? So I do have to be very strict because it's very easy to cheat on a test these days because we have ChatGPT. It's very easy to go and use that secretly. So that's why we're doing it this way. I'm sorry, but I'm going to give you a lot of ways to practice recording yourself so that it's not at all hard or scary when the real test day comes, okay? And I'll be here to help as much as I can be. So yeah, I've given you a little sample test, and I'll talk about that in just a second, and that will be a great way for you to get started practicing recording yourself so that you're totally ready for the day that the test comes out. All right, so yeah, please yell at me about any of these things that I just said for this page. That's going to be your main source of knowledge about the midterm. And yeah, let's talk about this practice section. So practice recording yourself. I've made a page with some videos on how to record yourself exactly in the way that I want you to. I'm going to teach you how to use a program called OBS. That's this one that I use for my lectures, though you're going to have to add your face and your pretty much that. Everything I've done is pretty much what I want you to do, except you're going to add your face in the corner and while you're taking the test. And so I show you exactly how to configure the OBS program in this first video, and so that's what you're going to follow. Okay. You can use any other program if you're better at a different one, as long as you do exactly the same stuff, like your video looks exactly the same way, like you're able to share your entire screen and put your face in a corner, then you can totally do it, but you got to get my permission. But I'm going to teach us all how to use OBS in this video. It works on Windows and Mac and Linux, so there's no excuse. You can use it anywhere. And yeah, there's no in-person class this semester, so you won't be looking at this second video. That would be like recording your screen on the classroom computers. This is how you're going to record yourself. So you'll follow along with this video to set up OBS. Boop. And like here's the sample recording that I made while I was demonstrating how to record yourself. If you want to watch that, that's kind of what I expect to see. But yeah, that's a walkthrough on how to record yourself, and you can practice as much as you want with this recording practice test. This is not for a grade, it's just for you, all right? And then you can submit your video after you've taken it. So it's just like write a Hello World program. It's 2 quick little questions, but it's the same exact format that you'll see on the midterm before you start, all right? It looks a bit different for me because I'm the instructor, but for you, you'll come to this page and you'll see all of these directions right at the top, and you'll have a start button, okay? So this is what you're going to see on the actual midterm too. So this is a great practice, and these are all of the, I know it's a lot, but it goes fast. All right, these are all the directions for how to start recording yourself. So stop, you'll get to the page, like stop, don't start until you followed all the directions, and so let's talk about some of them. All right, so like we're taking the test at home in this class, and so you'll clear everything off your desk or go somewhere that's clear, and then you'll make sure that you have at least 5 gigs of free space on your drive that you're recording to. That's to make sure that the video is not going to cut off because you run out of space. That's very, very important because I need your whole video as you're taking the test. And then you'll close everything except for the recording software and the web browser that you've got open, and you have no other tabs except for the page that is the test. And yeah, then you'll open your OBS software or whatever software you want to use, and you got to make sure you got your whole screen visible, including like the time and stuff, not just the window that is your browser, because it's very easy to open up other windows, right? I want to see the whole darn screen, and yeah, make sure that works out. Make sure you can see your microphone audio. You should be able to see like a little equalizer down there where you talk. You see it going higher and lower, and so that tells you that it's recording your audio. And then make sure you've got your webcam video in a corner, any corner except for the one with the time, because I want to see the time ticking. And yeah, just make sure your video is clear so that I can see what's behind you, and then you'll start recording yourself. To prove that your microphone's on, you'll say your name and your student ID number just out loud, and then you'll show me all these things with your webcam. So you'll show me that your cheat sheet is handwritten on both sides, and any scratch paper that you have is blank. You'll show me that. You'll make sure that also to show me your desk, like what's on your desk right now. Make sure there's nothing other than your cheat sheet, your scratch paper, and anything else you need to take the test. No calculators or anything like that. Yeah, so that's what I want to see. If you have a desktop computer that you're taking the test and like the webcam is built into the monitor, like you don't have to lift that up. Just like use your phone to like send me a picture of the desk while it's recording. Then like I want in the recording you taking that picture and sending it to me so that I can like verify the times and all that. So yeah, that's kind of the rules for what I want to see before you take the test, just to make sure we're all like on an even playing field. We're not getting any extra help. And yeah, then you can more or less start it. If you have any questions while you're taking the test, you can open Discord. You can go on Zoom. I encourage you to take it during my office hours if you can. You can try to contact me during the test. I can't promise that I'm available outside of my office hours, but you can totally try to contact me, all right? That is the exception to all these rules. You can totally try to ask me something if you have a question about the questions, okay? And then, yeah, you're good to start the recording. Just remember to not stop it until you're done with the test, all right? So these are all the rules that you are going to follow as you take the real test. These are the same exact rules that will appear on the midterm. And, yeah, you'll take the midterm, you'll take the practice test, and then you'll submit your video, just as practice, right? None of this is for a grade. But yeah, these would be the rules if you were taking the test in the classroom with me, but we don't have an in-person CSCI 26 this semester. And so yeah, that is what it's all about. You'll click start. For me, it's just like preview because I'm the instructor, but you'll have a start button. But like you follow all the things you're recording right now, you click start. For some weird reason, it shows you the instructions again. So just scroll down because it's starting. I gave you like a 30-minute timer. You'll have a real an hour and a half timer for the real test, but I just wanted to show you what that timer looks like and how to see it. Make sure you can see that ticking down. And yeah, this is just like good practice to make sure you understand how to take the test and get the recording perfect. All right, so plenty of time to practice. You can keep on repeating this. So yeah, like here's where the actual test questions start. Like that's just telling you some stuff that I already said, and like here's what the questions will look like on Canvas. Like what's 2.24? Write a Hello World program. Just to get you some practice doing stuff on Canvas. So yeah, stuff like that. If you want to make it look pretty, and you don't like this kind of text, you can make it fixed width by changing it to pre-formatted. That'll work. And then it kind of looks more like code in a text editor. But there's no like tabbing over on Canvas. You have to like press the space key a few times. So you'd be like, see out hello world. Return 0. So that's how you'd like type code if I ever asked you to do that. And yeah, so you're recording yourself right now. You're going to submit the quiz or let the time expire, whatever comes first. And after you click submit, you'll stop your recording, and then you'll submit your recording to this recording practice video submission page. Again, it's not for a grade. You can do this as many times as you'd like to practice and make sure you understand the process for the real test, because this is exactly the kind of format that the real test is going to have. So this recording practice video submission page will just have like a little file upload button. You'll upload your video, and that's what's going to happen after you take the real test too. All right, so I'm not going to look at your videos for this one. This is just because it's just for practice and you can do it a bunch of times. If you have any questions about whether your video has all the right things on it, please talk to me. Send me a message somewhere so that I can go and look at it then. But yeah, this is exactly the kind of format. These two things is exactly the kind of format that every other test in this class is going to be like. So just practice this a few times so that it becomes second nature, and then it won't be hard at all when the real tests happen, right? So you'll go in and take the test right here when it actually comes out during the time that you've chosen to take it. And yeah, click here, you'll see all the same instructions. You'll start your recording as you follow them, and then you'll submit your video recording down here after you've taken the test. And I think that's all that I really wanted to say. I think that was most of the information. Please practice it so it becomes second nature. It won't be so hard on the day of the test. I'm sorry that I have to do this. It is just to keep the class fair for everybody. I'm sure you can imagine. And yeah, that's more or less the bulk of the information. The last thing that I want to talk about is, and please yell at me if you have any other questions about anything, if there's something I didn't cover that you're wondering about. The very last thing I want to talk about during this video, before I bring you back to the real stuff, is the extra credit opportunity. I like to give an extra credit assignment around every test time, and I'm asking you, if you would like to do it, you can make a review video for the test. So this is worth up to 2.5% extra credit on top of your final grade in the class, and the submission is a rare midnight submission. It's going to be the midnight of the day before the test comes out. So 11:59 p.m. on the 17th is when this is due. I do not allow late submissions for extra credit, so make sure you get it in early, because I am not accepting anything late. You should have done it earlier. Okay, so that is when it's due, and here's what you can do. If you'd like to do this extra credit assignment, of course you don't have to, but if you would like, here's what I want. So you just make a little video that's going over some stuff, and then you respond down here and you submit it, and then it's kind of, you've been tricked into studying for the test in a different way, and then also your peers get to see the video that you posted, so they get another chance to study in a different way as well, and I think it's a win-win because of that. I'm forcing you to study, and you get some credit for it if you'd like. So yeah, you just post the video that you made. You don't have to edit it, just like I don't edit our lectures in class. And you'll submit a link that I can view it, like a public link, either a public video on YouTube or like an unlisted link on YouTube, something that I can see and that your peers can see. Or you can also just upload it to Canvas. I think that also works. And so here's what I want to see during the video. So remember, you're doing some extra credit. You got to make something brand new. So let's talk about that. So what I want to see in your review video is you reviewing stuff, like go over some examples, make up some questions of things that might appear on the exam, something like that. Go as crazy as you want, and then kind of pretend to be a teacher. Go over the concepts that need to be applied to solve the problem that you came up with, something like that. Okay, so that's kind of the little format that I'm expecting. And if you want the full extra credit, the 2.5%, please make at least a 20-minute video going over a bunch of stuff. All right. If you want just half the extra credit, you can make a 10-minute video going over not as many things, but still a decent amount. So yeah, that's kind of the format, what I want to see. And then I do want to say, just to make it clear, that you have to make something brand new to get extra credit, right? You got to do something extra for extra credit. You got to make write some new code that you've never written before, make some slides, draw some diagrams, something like that. Don't just go over a lab, because I made that. Don't just go over my lecture slides, because I made those, right? You got to do something brand new, extra for extra credit. If you have any questions about whether your idea is extra enough, I'd be happy to look at it ahead of time before you start. And though as long as you follow most of these ideas, I don't see why I wouldn't give you credit. But yeah, that is the format. That's what I'm expecting to see if you want to do this. And this is another great excuse to practice OBS and getting that working before the test. And I'd be happy to help you if you have any questions about any of that. Yeah, I think that's most of what I wanted to say. Remember, if you don't have a webcam or a microphone on your personal computer right now, go to the library. They are checking out laptops to you for the semester. There's no reason you can't do the extra credit, and also you're required to have all that for the test anyway. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions about any of this stuff. I think I've told you all the dates, all the formats, and you have a way to practice as much as you need to practice to get it down and ready for the day of the test when you want, when you have to record yourself. And I think that's everything that I wanted to say. So please yell at me if you have any questions about anything. I'm happy to help as much as I can. And I think you have all the resources now, though. So please get started. Practice a lot so that it's just second nature. And I think that's all that I wanted to say in this little video. So that concludes the midterm 1 stuff. Now back to your regularly scheduled computer science.